Bloomberg. That is already angering New York Democratic Party leaders. Matt?
All right, Andrea, thanks very much. Andrea Mitchell in Washington. Congresswoman Louise Slaughter from Rochester, New York, was the first Democrat to publicly endorse Caroline Kennedy. Republican Congressman Peter King from Long Island, New York, is seriously considering a run himself for that same seat in 2010. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Matt.
Good morning. Representative Slaughter, let me start with you. People talk about the resume issue, whether she has enough experience to be a senator, but some others have said during this particularly difficult and important time in our nation's history, you need someone who's been in Congress, who knows how to hit the ground running, and is not going to spend a year or so learning the ropes. How do you respond to that?
There's nothing in the Constitution that says that. I've never heard such a hubbub about a person as qualified as she is wanting to run for a Senate seat.
What's her major qualification?
It defies imagination to me. What is her qualification? She's been working for years in education, and I know that some of my colleagues have denigrated that, but I do believe that the Chancellor of Schools in New York City, Joel Klein, and Mayor Bloomberg would have a much better idea than any of us, and they praise her lavishly. We know who she is. She took time out to raise her children. So did I. I think that's commendable, not anything to be held against her. We know how bright she is. We know how good she is.
All right, let me.
There's nothing in the world to disqualify her from this seat.
Let me turn to Congressman King. The experience. You know, Hillary Clinton didn't have experience in elective office prior to becoming a senator. Bill Bradley, John Corzine. The list goes on. Why does it disqualify Caroline Kennedy?
Well, there's no requirement that you have experience in elective office, but you have to have some experience. And Caroline Kennedy, as far as I know, has never held a job. There's vaunted work she did in education. According to the tax records of the Fund for Education, she worked 1 to 2 hours a week, and she had a job that was especially created for her, where she wouldn't have to file financial disclosure forms.
Do you have concerns about her wealth? I mean, you've made comment. No, 1 second, Congresswoman. Is wealth a disqualifier to you?
No, I don't begrudge anyone being rich. My thing is, if you have no experience, though, with real people in any sense, she's never held a real job. You mentioned John Corzine. He worked on Wall Street. You mentioned Hillary Clinton. She was the first lady for 8 years, testified before Congress, and she campaigned for 2 years before she was elected.
Bill Bradley was a New York Knick.
And he was also a Rhodes Scholar who was actively involved. The fact is, Caroline Kennedy has never even held one press conference in her life.
Representative Slaughter, should she be out there more right now holding daily, instead of the listening tour, talking to political figures, should she be out there holding daily press conferences right now, answering tough questions?
Of course not, because she has a constituency of one at this moment. That's Governor Patterson. She came up to talk to some of us. The press, I think, got a hold of it. I know I was not prepared for the onslaught, and I don't believe she was as well. But no, I don't think she should be out campaigning. Those of us who support her are happy to talk for her, and we want to make it clear that we believe that New York deserves a senator with great stature, somebody who is ready to hit the floor running. And Peter, she demonstrated that in the Obama campaign, where she held press conferences all the time.
Which is a good segue for me.
Not only did that, but registered voters and did phone banking.
Good segue for me, because President-elect Obama says that they have a very close relationship, Congressman King, that comes from her endorsement of him, and that because of that relationship, it would be good for the state of New York. Sounds like he's saying she'll bring things to the people in this state as a senator. Are you against that?
It almost sounds like payback. Because she endorsed him, now he wants her Senate, and somehow there's an implication that New York is going to get more money if Caroline Kennedy becomes a senator. That's wrong. Also, Matt, let me point out, she hasn't even voted half the time. She hasn't voted any of the last 4 Democratic mayoral primaries. Didn't vote for Senate in 1994. When Mario Cuomo was fighting for his life in 1994, she didn't even vote in the general election. So where's this civic duty, sense of civic responsibility?
5 seconds to each of you, and Congresswoman, I'll start with you. Is this a done deal already?
I don't think so. As I said, this is up to the governor. But I'm happy to support her. I think she brings great strengths to the Senate seat. And frankly, I look forward to working with her on upstate issues, which is sometimes difficult for those of us in the New York delegation.
Congressman King, is it a done deal?
Yeah, it's up to Governor Patterson. I have a great regard for Governor Patterson. There's an awful lot of pressure from Barack Obama, and it's hard to say no to the Kennedys.
All right, Congresswoman Louise Slaughter and Congressman Peter King, thank you both. We appreciate it. Still ahead.
Just be processing in